It's another episode of Life's Potluck Buffet where you never know what the topic is going to be. I'm John Paulus. Thanks for joining me today. Yesterday, I talked about value and what thing has the most value of anything, period, forever. I did a YouTube search on value yesterday, and I found that one of the most watched videos, which I'm going to put in the description, falls under the category of weird skills or strange skills. Remember that I did an episode a while ago about hobbies, weird hobbies, what weird hobbies people have. What we all have weird hobbies that we do, whether we realize it or not. But the video is about a person who has developed the ability to know what the RGB code is for any color he sees. And that is really interesting. He's able to estimate it. So RGB is, the red, green, blue. That's one of the ways that colors are identified is through how much red, green, and blue they have in them. That's like a one way to identify what the color is. There are also, you probably know, CMYK, which is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. It was just K. As I recall, the K stands for key because the key plate was printed. It was a black ink plate that was printed with the key. So that's the K in CMYK. Obviously, cyan is a blue, magenta is a kind of reddish, right? And yellow is, yellow. So that's another way of talking about it. That's, we call that process color or four color. When you see that written out, you'll often see it talked about process color. And that's a color model. The RGB is a kind of different color model because it's I'm not going to get into details. Just the colors are done. It's done differently. So check out that video. It's really good, and the guy will explain why he is so good at guessing what the RGB numbers are for any color that he sees. That's fun. Okay. So let's draw a card for today, see what the cards have in store for us today, give us some advice for everyone listening and for me here in the studio. So I will do my usual technique, which was discovered on a day in September in 2023 when the cards magically produced a number that I asked them to produce, and I learned the true power of the cards. And so that technique involves, and if you have a pack of these cards at home, do the same technique. I really suggest it because I think this is the way the cards want us to do it. All right, so it's three casual shuffles, rearranging the first few cards in the bottom and the front, bottom and the top. That you do with you hold the cards in one hand and you grab some with the fingers of the other hand and rearrange them. Okay, then after that, I do the full shuffle, the great shuffle or grape shuffle, as we were calling it now because of the grapefruit. Check out that episode if you haven't seen it on the grapefruit or grapefruit, depending on what you want to call it. And then I look for a gap that's calling my name, which is usually, one sticks out. A card will be sticking out or there's like a space. And then I cut the deck there. And then I turn the card over and I hope it's not Passions Are for Hobbies because, you've probably seen that episode and the highlight version at the end of 2023 of Passions Are for Hobbies. And that one day that card came up 3 times. And I had talked about it the day before in connection to another card, so the deck was really messing with me. So Each time I pray that it will not be passions or for hobbies. And cards, oh, now I'm really worried that I'm even talking about this. The cards can hear me. All right, here we go. Okay, phew. It's card 13. Think of your work life as a pie. All right, so that's our card for today. Take a moment during your day and do this exercise. All right, here's the exercise. Think of each aspect of your life as a piece of a pie of a different flavor. Your family work, your paid work, your hobbies, your volunteer work, your self-care work, etc., etc. Say what the largest slice of your pie is right now and what you want it to be in 6 months. I did an episode with a worksheet a few months back for this. And if you take a look at that episode, I'll put that episode in the description because I think that gives you a good sense of how to do this exercise. Because the idea here is that it's a way of thinking about priorities. You'll understand that everything you do during the day is work. That's card number 1 of Life's Potluck Buffet. Because everything we do involves effort and energy, and so it's work. So during the day, that work is mostly conscious work, the work that we have a sense of what we're doing, and we have a kind of conscious control over what we're doing. When you go to sleep, obviously, the back of your mind has a full-time job in terms of unconscious work that is being done. And that is so important as well. Just for everything about our health and our work and our life, that unconscious work that our mind does when we're sleeping is absolutely critical to our existence. And one of the cards in the Life's Potluck Buffet deck is about that and how to kind of activate that. And the way to activate that is to let your mind wander because it will know where to go. So that's where we, say, for example, have a question that we need answered, that we need our mind to answer. And then we go and we just forget about that question and just do something else. Take a walk, refinish a chair. That's my big one. Do something that gets your mind, your conscious mind, off of it. And then your unconscious mind will do the work in the background. And the same thing is true for sleeping as well. So asking yourself to solve a question and then forgetting about it is the best way that we have to kind of activate any unconscious work that's going to be done. So, and being open to that and being open to the answers that you receive from that is a really important thing, and knowing how to interpret those answers is important as well. But for today, think of your work life as a pie. Think about what the largest slice is right now. Something may be taking up too much of your pie, and you wish that in the next 6 months that will take up less and that something else will take up more. Or if you have something clear that you say, I need more time for one of these things in my life, an aspect of my life, I need more time for that, then, and this is where that episode that I talked about, where I did the worksheet for card 13 comes in, because you'll see there I end up borrowing a little bit of time from one area to put it towards another area. So that is the other option, is that figuring out how to carve off a little larger slice of the pie for something that you want to, and knowing what you can realistically and legitimately carve that off from the other pieces, because that's most often what we run into, is we have filled up our lives with all of this work, and so and we can't create more time. We talked about time yesterday, right? It's the most valuable thing in the world, period. And so we can't, being able to create more time in reality is impossible, literally. But being able to carve off a little bit of time from one thing and put it to another shows you are placing that value that high level value to another thing. And that's what this work-life pie is all about. It's about how your time is divided up, and therefore how you are allocating the most precious resource that you have to various things, or how you have to allocate it. What circumstances are that require that you allocate it to certain things. So think about that today. Think about your work life as a pie, and think about what you want to carve off a piece from to give it to something else in that pie for the next 6 months. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow on Life's Potluck Buffet.